Bitcoin mining. What is it and how does it work? Bitcoin mining is the process of creating new Bitcoins by solving complex math equations. Miners who successfully solve these equations are rewarded with Bitcoins. But why would anyone want to do that? And how does it actually work? Well, let me explain. First off, let's talk about why someone would want to mine Bitcoin in the first place. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, he or she or they set the total supply of Bitcoin that can ever exist at 21 million coins. This means that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, and that's it. So because there is a finite amount of Bitcoin that can be mined, and because people believe that the value of Bitcoin will continue to rise, many people are willing to invest their money and electricity into mining. But what exactly are they mining? Well, when a transaction occurs using Bitcoin, it gets broadcast to the network of all the computers that are currently mining Bitcoin. The miners then take these transactions and bundle them together with other transactions into something called a block. Once a block is filled with transactions, the miners compete to be the first one to solve a really complicated math equation. The equation is actually more like a riddle than anything else. And the answer to this riddle is a special number that, when put into a specific format, creates a hash. That's a unique 64-character alphanumeric string that starts with 0. This is a very difficult thing to do, which is why the equation is so complicated. You can't just guess the answer. It has to be calculated, and calculating it takes a lot of computing power, which is why Bitcoin mining is such an expensive and energy-intensive process. So, how does all this work? Well, it all comes down to one simple concept: trial and error. Since the answer to the equation cannot be calculated directly, miners use a process called hashing to find the answer. Hashing is basically just a fancy way of saying that the miner is guessing the answer to the equation. However, it's not a random guess. Each guess is based on a previous guess, and the miner is getting closer and closer to the right answer with each guess. When a miner gets the right answer, they win the reward. The reward is a set amount of Bitcoin. Currently, the reward for mining a block of transactions is 6.25 Bitcoin. Not bad for correctly solving a math equation. But wait, there's more. In addition to the reward for mining a block, miners also get to keep all of the transaction fees that were included in the block. Transaction fees are the amount of money that users pay to have their transactions processed. Miners are incentivized to keep transaction fees low since they get to keep them. Miners also don't like it when their transactions are delayed since they could be stuck waiting for their reward forever. But if everyone keeps their fees low, then transactions will get processed faster and miners won't have to wait as long for their rewards. But why not just have everyone pool their resources and work together to solve the equation? Wouldn't this make the process faster and more efficient? Well, yes, it would. And that's actually already being done. Something called a mining pool is a group of miners who combine their computing power in order to solve the equation faster. When a miner joins a pool, they agree to give up some of their reward in exchange for the pool's computing power. The pool then takes a percentage of the reward for itself and distributes the rest of the miners. This way, even if a miner doesn't win the reward, they still get something for their efforts. Now you know how Bitcoin mining works. Thanks for watching. Like the video and hit the subscribe button for future updates.